Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome. I am so happy to have you here. This is USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture. Joining me are several people. They're all team members here at USA Global TV and Radio, and I'm just so happy that we're going to have a fabulous panel and a wonderful show. Let's welcome our guests. DIANN, FLOYD, BOEHM, hello.
Hi, great to see you.
Nice to see you. ROLAND, FRIEDL, hi.
Hello, everyone.
Helena Chard, welcome.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone.
Simon MacDonald, hello.
Hello, everybody coming from Scotland. Lovely to see you all again. And
Ian PELHAM Turner, hello, sir.
This sounds like a game show this afternoon.
It's Hollywood Squares. That's what it looks like. So it's nice to have everybody back. I feel like our shows are not only educational, but they're entertaining and fun. And it feels like just a family. And that's all because of you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's always important. I mean, you create such a great environment on anything, and you're a great supporter of Britain as well. And we try to support America. And of course, we've actually got our London mayor covering America as we speak, spending $5 million to actually promote Britain. So I'm sure Helena will probably talk more about that as well.
We have. We've got lots of news. Are we starting off with news today, everybody?
I think we should. Yes, let's jump right into it.
Okay. I think I'm going to start off with Her Majesty the Queen, just because we love her so dearly. And we're missing her. So the Buckingham Palace garden parties have in fact started today. Her Majesty the Queen is not attending, much to everyone's upset. She has something like 3 parties during this period, and 30,000 people, special people, get invited, but everyone loves meeting Her Majesty the Queen, and so it's not going to be quite the same, but other members of the royal family obviously are in attendance, so I'm sure it will still be fun. It's a bit rainy and dreary here today, and it's always lovely when it's sunny in these garden parties, but just one of those things. Yesterday we had the state opening of Parliament, which is something which is pretty special here. Unfortunately, again, Her Majesty the Queen couldn't attend, so that was quite sad. It's the first time in 59 years that she's not opened this. But her son, Prince of Wales, was there, and he opened it with Duke of Cambridge. Prince of Wales gave the Queen's speech. He did it very well, but the funny thing about it is actually Prince Charles, Prince of Wales, he's very funny, and he always loves to ad-lib with his speeches, but you could see that he was quite tame, and I think he probably found it quite hard giving the speech. But 38 bills were mentioned, and you know, it is a very special ceremony here. In fact, we've sort of been, but I mean, the security at the moment to get in to anywhere the whole way round Parliament is really tight at the moment. I'm not too sure what's happening, but one of those things. But Prince of Wales did an amazing job. He was there in his Admiral Fleet uniform. Duke of Cambridge was there in mourning coat. And it was just sad to see Her Majesty the Queen's crown sat on the chair there. And you could just see everyone looking at it. It was this kind of, again, I think we mentioned it last time, we were almost missing her, even though she's still there. And she would have been watching on television. I'm sure she was incredibly proud. So that was a good thing. Duke of Cambridge then dashed to Manchester and met the Duchess of Cambridge there. It was the opening of the Manchester Arena bombing memorial. Sadly, the terror attack which took place 5 years ago. I mean, I can't believe it. It was during Ariana Grande's concert. That terrible terror attack took place, and 22 people were killed, mainly children. So many people traumatized, but it's so nice that it's a memorial. It's the Glade of Light Memorial, and it's a beautiful area. It's got lots of greenery. It was a private sort of function to bring people together, and actually that's what it's done. It's brought lots of people together, and there are love heart capsules, which is something very special, helping grieving, but also giving a lot of joy. And I think the ultimate thing is that we always say, you know, love always prevails over hate. So love always wins, and it's just a really nice situation, I feel. And there's so many things going on. I think you know, they keep talking about cost of living, which quite rightly so. We've got lots of negativity in the UK, and we all want to be really happy, and there's lots of working out to do. But you know, as always, we're always supporting people. And one person I would like to highlight, because I know that we've got a few videos and things, but there's a lovely lady, BBC presenter called Deborah James, very well known and respected, and she has said an emotional goodbye to everybody via social media. She's known as Bowel Babe, B-O-W-E-L. She got bowel cancer, I think, in 2016, and when she was diagnosed, it was stage 4. During that time, she has really given so much hope and joy to so many people. She's thrived hugely even during her illness, and she has really turned things around and tried to normalise bowel cancer. I mean, one of the things she always says is check your poo, and obviously in the UK everyone sort of cringes and thinks, oh my goodness, but she has saved so many people's lives, and it's just really sad that obviously it's her time to say goodbye because her body's given up and she's sort of gone into her sort of final days. But I think we should just show a few pictures of her, because she's leaving the most amazing legacy. I mean, she set up Bowel Babe, which is like a charity, literally a couple of days ago, and already just over £2.5 million pounds has been donated. But she's just given so much, and it's just good to remember everything that she's done. But she's still with us. It's lovely the way it's her whole journey, and the fact that she's actually saying goodbye to people. And I think something that everyone remembers her for as well is her podcast, You, Me, and the Big C. And she sort of did that with 2 other people. Unfortunately, one of them has died. So the one lady that's going to be left is obviously quite sad. But I don't know, do we have the pictures, Dr. Jacalyn?
We do. I just was going to share that I have so much respect for what she's done. I have ulcerative colitis. I'm very involved in the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, and people don't want to talk about these types of situations, but it affects people and everyday people. And the fact that she's come out like this and also said this, posted, you know, goodbye, to encourage people to come forward, to be brave, to be strong, and not be living in shame and isolating yourself from the rest of the world. I think that's brilliant.
And I think one of the most wonderful things, that even in her last days, and she's still doing filming and interviews even yesterday, she's still looking glamorous. And so one of the things that she's famous for, even during all this time, was that she started doing these very zany dance videos as well with her children, and with all the different things that she's been doing. You know, and it just goes to show that you can live your life, you can overcome all sorts of issues in your life. And even now on her last days, and she knows she's going to die before too long, she's still making sure that she looks glamorous. And I think that's just a wonderful, really quality for someone like that.
Yes, that picture, this last one here, let me just pull this up and bring you back, Ian. This is the one that she just, this is her penning goodbye. She looks amazing.
Doesn't she? And how brave, you know. And yesterday when she was doing an interview, she was quite tearful, and obviously such. But at the same time, you know, how brave of a woman like that to be able to continue doing it, to even, you know, when she's facing death herself, that she still wants to sort of talk about the message, give people hope. And I think the reality with that within just 2 days, raising over £2 million in 2 days is something that has really sparked her, has really made her feel special at the same time. And she says that.
Incredible.
I think as well, one of the things that is so important is that she always used to say, I mean, even during her ill days, is she always used to, you know, say to everyone, you've just got to try and enjoy life, you know, make the most of what you've got, however simple, go for it. And that's always, you know, it's always been through her right the way to now, even now, she'd be telling everyone to enjoy life. And that's very special.
Yes, it takes an amazing strength of character and purpose as well to you know, to go through that and be so positive about it as well. It's inspirational. It really is. It's just brought so much inspiration to other people as well. And we do need positivity in this day and age, and we do need to think forward for everybody else as well, not just ourselves.
Great point. Thank you. Diane, you're on mute, just so you know. I know you're trying to speak.
No, I was just commenting. It's beautifully said. So, wow, what an inspiration. Just incredible. And I'm going to check her out and donate myself.
Yeah. I think we're, I was just saying before we were coming on, that everyone's feeling quite sad at the moment. It's like people, you know, even in the political circles, everyone's saying something's got to be done. One, about the cost of living, obviously, which is a terrible thing here, and I think probably worldwide. So when there's acts of kindness, however small, it's so special. Anything that can cheer people up. And the beautiful South singer, his name is Paul Heaton. He's recently celebrated his 60th birthday. Congratulations, Paul. But what he did, which was so lovely, he had thought he would go travel to lots of pubs and he was going to actually perform at lots of pubs, but he didn't. But what he did is he gave £1,000 to 60 pubs around the UK, and obviously people, so this was really for all his fans and people that have supported him throughout his career, just to go and have a little party on him. And it was so lovely because, as I said, it really cheered people up just to sit there and cheers, and people were talking about, you know, how terrible things were, and you know, the cost of living and not being able to do things. But obviously it was just so special, and it meant so much to everyone. So that was really lovely to hear that. We didn't go, we weren't invited, but never mind. I'm glad that other people enjoyed it.
I was trying to work out how he did it. It sounded like the longest pub crawl I've ever heard. You know, you know, because how did he get £1,000 to 60 pubs? Now, did he go around each one of them to try it out? We don't know the answer to that, but it sounds like it could have been the longest pub crawl as we have them in Britain. The thing Helena is right as well is that a lot of the people who are enjoying part of the devil's brew that were in reality, they couldn't afford alcohol anymore at all. And they'd come in because the local pub was advertising this as well. And so they were all raising a glass to him at the same time for doing this. And it is. Acts of kindness at the moment are one of the most things that is really uppermost in Britain. And Helen and I are very involved in a kindness project.
Can you tell us more about the project?
Well,
Or is it?
Helena probably. No, we can talk a little bit more now. Do you want me to talk, Helena, or do you want to talk?
You're fine. You can just carry on mentioning it.
Okay. Well, we've created something called the kindness card, and at the moment we're in talks with the government, we're in talks with political parties, and we've just got our first shopping mall in Britain to agree to work with the project as well. And the idea behind the kindness card, these cards will be distributed to food banks. And the people going to food banks at the moment, we feel, are feeling obviously as if they're invisible nowadays. They feel that they're disconnected, invisible, that no one cares about them. And so the idea behind the card is that they can take this card to local shops and stores in their area, and they will get a discount for their goods at the moment as well. And the idea behind it is just to show an act of kindness between people who are feeling really down at the moment, and they can go to a local shop, and the local shop recognizes that they have got a problem, and so they're going to give them a discount or some helping hand in some way during this troubled time for themselves. So we've created a thing called the Kindness Trust, and we're actually in the process of creating the company name as well at the moment. And we also have a second project that will be going out to 600 schools across Britain as well. We're working with another partner called Let's Localize. And the idea again behind the kindness card is that schools can actually nominate pupils who have done an act of kindness. And then they will be presented with one of these kindness cards that again they can go to local stores, whatever it might be, the local cinema, whatever it is, and they will be given either a gift or an act of or a discount in some way, just to sort of show that when you do kind things come back to you.
That's outstanding. Wow. And you and Helen are working on it as well as some other individuals?
We've got a whole team. I mean, do you know that the incredible thing with Helen and I is that we started talking about this project probably about 5 weeks ago. And then I just started talking to a few people, and we had our first Kindness Trust members meeting, and 12 people turned up for this meeting, but they all do specific roles or businesses or look after different projects. And for men to be talking about kindness, I always think kindness in some ways is probably a more feminine trait, but it's not, because men can show absolute kindness as well. And so we formed ourselves into a committee, and we're going through the processes at the moment. We are due to launch, fingers crossed, on the 2nd and 3rd of June, because the Queen talks a lot about the kindness as well. So our first shopping mall, I hope, is going to launch with us, and they are already working with food banks in their area. And so this card will be distributed to people going to the food banks, and they will get special, whether it's food or whether it's discounts or whatever it might be, from the shopping mall as well.
Congratulations. And the fact that you turned this around so quickly is amazing.
Incredible.
You must have some connections, the two of you.
That's funny.
That's an understatement, of course.
Yeah.
You know, Ian, something that you just mentioned, I think is really relevant and important, especially as we have Roland here. When you talk about acts of kindness and men not necessarily being associated with that, Roland, you're doing a lot of work with your men's groups, and we have a new program coming for men, by men, about men. And I saw Ian and Simon, you both commented on that. So, Roland, anything you'd like to share?
Well, first of all, yeah, men can be kind when they get the chance to be so, and when they learn to express their feelings, and yeah, don't keep them within, because we have been educated and thrilled that we don't show emotions, that we are tough, that we are warriors, we're not weak. But men want to share, they want to care, and yeah. That's what my work is doing with men, is to express their feelings and be more open, and so becoming better relationships to their beloved ones, their families, their friends, their businesses, and it's time to go public with that. Yeah.
And I think, and thank you, Roland, for saying that as well. I think the other thing as well is that we've already had a potential interest in America. This project all of a sudden is really taken off. Well, one of our other colleagues who were part of the project, she was talking to one of her American connections, and they were saying that such a coincidence that they were going to launch something not quite the same, but a kindness project in America. And then at the last minute, the backer, the sponsor, pulled out and wanted to do something else, and so this whole thing was set up. And then it just went again. And so we may very well, you may start seeing, I hope, the kindness card in America as well before too long. And we already had an offer from Africa as well. And this is just in 5 weeks. And it just shows you at the moment, the world needs kindness.
Yes, absolutely. Let me know what I can do to help. And I'm wondering, is there some way that you can sort of, I don't know what the words are, but cookie cutter it so that it's something that can be implemented all over the world? In other words, yeah. Do this, get this, follow this process.
Well, I can show you one of the kindness cards. So I wasn't expecting to do this afternoon, but I'm now trying to see how I can break into one of the boxes. But so excuse me for a second, so I sort of go fumbling through. But if you can see this, so this I need to go that way. So that's the front of the card.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Really nice.
That's the front of the card, and then the back of the card.
Building kindness with businesses and people, which will give hope, inspiration, and harmony to all.
Yeah.
Love it.
And Helena came up with that wording, which I thought was fabulous.
Yay, Helena.
Yes.
I mean, the card is really just a template. The card's not the true card. It's just to show what it could be like. It'd be like a
prototype.
Yeah. And what's amazing is how everyone has been so supportive, and in such a short space of time, everyone wants to be involved, and it's become this like very big project quite quickly, which is fabulous. But we're trying to sort of make sure that the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, you know, to try and make sure it's right, and then hopefully it will grow really well, which is really great. And actually, on the word of kindness, I was reading this article, and it says that people get kinder as they get older.
I read that.
Over here, we have this character called Victor Meldrew, and he's a real bitter, twisted older man, and so it really knocks that character that's been in Great Britain for years and years and years, because it's quite a new. I think it's quite a new thing that's come out, and it's a proper survey. They looked into it properly, and I can't remember exactly what it is. It's to do with. I almost want to say it's to do with endorphins, but that's the wrong word. It's to do with something that our body secretes. I can't think what it is, but no, I love to hear it. I love to hear that whole thing, that we're all wanting to do positive things, and it just will go. You know it works. Kindness works. As soon as you do a good deed, it's almost like contagious, and it will like spread around the world. And that's what we're hoping. We just, yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting, and I'm sure we'll be able to all work together.
How does someone get involved? Aside from us here, I mean, if people want to get involved around the world, what can they do?
I mean,
sorry, you carry on.
I was going to say, at this moment, we're sort of rolling things out. It's quickly, but also we have to do it methodically. I mean, we're speaking to everybody, so people can contact us by email or whatever, but we can't. I think we're obviously launching in time for the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen's 70 years on the throne. So, and I think in due course, then we'll be able to collaborate and work more, I think, with people. I think in the next few weeks, in the run up to it, I think we just have to really hold tight and run.
Run, Forrest, run.
I think it's caught us unawares, if we're really honest, because within about 10 days of even sort of thinking about the idea and creating a simple prototype, the minister for the government minister for small businesses, I had a meeting with him. I've got a meeting with the opposition party on Friday, interested in this. Shopping malls are starting to come in now. Schools are starting to come in, and I think it's caught us. I mean, it's a great surprise for all of us that this is really taken off so quickly.
I think it's that expression, build it and they will come.
This is true. I love y'all's logo. It's wonderful. And I think you could take the song Happiness and just put the word kindness in part of it and run with it. Do y'all know the Happiness song? It's very short. I teach it to kids.
Sing it for us, Diane.
I don't want to bore y'all, but it's happiness runs in a circular motion. Love is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can be a part if you let yourself be. Sorry, I haven't sung this morning.
In the house.
So wherever I'm at, whether I'm in Africa or Sri Lanka, in America, wherever, and I'm with students, they all learn that song so that there's a connection. So maybe, just maybe, if they meet someone else when they're older, they can go, I know that song, and because we have to do things that connect people. And what you're doing is so fabulous. I love it.
Yes, in a jubilee year with jubilation and kindness, it's just perfect timing.
Definitely is. Diane, before we move on, I just would love if you would share with everyone the work that you're doing teaching. You're teaching English to a group of students. Can you share a little more about that?
Sure. It's such an honor. I was asked to teach in a small village right outside of Saigon to teach English to these kiddos because they have a real hard time learning it, and they really want to. So they knew, the teacher knew a person who knew me, and that's how I got connected. And so every Thursday morning, I get up early and meet with a group of kids from this small village. It's really fun. They're so cute. It's from like 6-year-old to 14 is the oldest.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Diane.
You're welcome. Thanks.
And I think that's one of the things that we're facing at the moment as well, because I think the figure now is that 70,000 visas have been given to Ukrainians to come to Britain, but not a large proportion of them do speak English. And so that's going to be one of the sort of the things that that we're going to have to sort of help and sort out with as well. So you may think about if you're teaching English at the moment, especially if you're used to working with people who don't speak English, it might be something that you can approach the government with as well. Because, when you look at the faces of these kids right now, especially, it gets me every single time, and the faces of these grandmothers who are they're in a state of shock. And so any means that we can help them in Britain to actually give them the support and the nurturing. But obviously the barrier will be the language at the moment. So any simple ways that people can suggest where they can actually learn some English at the same time. And we'll try and learn some Ukrainian. There has to be a two-way street
Right.
on it. But that is so important as well.
Yeah, so good. Many moons ago in the Philippines, when we had boat people coming everywhere, I worked in the refugee camps there before the people were sent to America. And it was, I learned a lot. I was a young girl, only 25, I think. So I love doing that.
And I love the Philippines. I used to work in the Philippines as well.
Nice.
I used to do publicity work for their tourism, and the people from the Philippines are so lovely as well, aren't they?
They're incredible. I love them.
I've got to get out of the house. Everybody has been.
I loved hearing about the Queen, and I can't wait to hear about some of her jubilees and garden parties, I guess you said. So, any other news?
It's exciting. So, I mean, the thing that we've been, I think Ian touched on it, is the Let's Do London. So you have Sadiq Khan, Mayor Sadiq Khan, I think, in the States at the moment. So he's doing a quick 5-day tour, and I know he was in Times Square promoting the UK. And I think obviously to try and boost London's tourism, which we so need. I think it's cost $5 million, I think, for him to be over there with various bits of entertainment, but it's to also talk to the tech industries and to attract investors into the UK. So there's been lots going on. I don't know, has anyone caught sight of that? Has anyone seen the campaign or seen him in Times Square doing his things? I don't know.
I don't take regular news, so I'm not going to see anything like that.
But there's another event as well, just to flag it up at the moment, in Florida.
Yay.
And in, I think it's November this year, there's going to be a major British-American event where British products are going to come to America to do a major thing. And this will make you smile. It makes me smile. It is that, I don't know whether you know what cricket is.
Yes.
Yes.
It's that bug.
Okay.
No, it's a game, right?
I know. I'm teasing.
Okay.
It's a game. It's a game. Well, cricket is going to be introduced to Florida because there's going to be this week of activity of businesses from Britain coming into one of your big drones in Florida as well. But part of the event is going to be a cricket match between England and America.
Interesting.
So keep an eye out for that in Florida.
Is that taking place in Miami?
I'm not sure where it is. Do you know what? I was told about it recently, and I'm involved with one of the people who is putting this project on, but I'm not quite sure where it is. But apparently it's going to be quite spectacular as well. So it's going to be one of these very big events. And really right now, as I said to you before, guys, we need Americans to come back. Where are you?
Well, the tourist travel really starts in June, doesn't it? After Memorial Day. Yeah, school's out.
Yeah. Well, over
Diane,
here in the snow, we've got a big influx of tourists, and it's lovely to see registration numbers coming in from France and from Germany and Holland, Denmark, Spain, Ireland, and these are just the ones I've seen today. So yes, we're open for business, and it's just fantastic to see everybody coming back.
I just want to share with you real quick. We had on one of our shows with Dr. JACALYN, we had our travel expert, and she said one of the top places was you guys, the UK. So just hope that makes you smile.
We need you back. We missed the Stetsons. We missed the wallets full of dollars. We missed the wonderful Americans. Oh, gee, on the language.
And I just want to share one more thing, just so you know, so you can share with your people. If you're in Texas and the Houston, if you're driving towards Austin on I-10, there was this huge sign. It said the largest cricket stadium in America is being built, just so you know.
Really?
Texas.
Well,
So maybe I'll have to come here too.
Well, Boris Johnson, I think, wanted to take over the world. Our Prime Minister wanted to. so perhaps with Brexit, so perhaps he's doing it via cricket. I don't know.
Maybe so.
He's tried everything else.
Ian, where you mentioned money should come into Britain, there will be a lot of money coming to Britain because today, I don't know why, but it popped out on my phone an hour ago. There's a UK single card holder claiming the world-breaking record of gaining £184 million from the Euro Million checkpoint. So there's a lot of money coming in.
Absolutely. And there's 68 million minus one trying to find out who it is.
Helena, I think we have a couple of other clips. I don't know, is there any more news before we close out?
Absolutely. We've got, so we here in the UK, it's Mental Health Week. From the 9th through to the 15th, and the Mental Health Foundation, which is the UK charity who's been, I think they've been going the longest, something like 1949, something like that, a lot longer than I thought. They help people to understand, protect, look after mental health, and basically work towards, good mental health. And they have, we have a video which I think possibly would be good to show. The theme this year, every year there's a theme, but obviously mental health awareness is about everything really. But just this charity have a theme, and this year it's loneliness. Now, obviously, what with the pandemic and various things, it's and really, cost of living, impacting on mental health. It really, I think it's something we should show. And I think sometimes the Mental Health Foundation don't get talked about enough because it's the main charities like Mind and various other things, but they are incredibly good. So should we play that one? I think we should.
Absolutely. Let's take a look.
Any one of us can feel lonely, anytime, anywhere. We can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. Some of us are more at risk than others. But research has shown that millions of us feel lonely some or all of the time. And long-term loneliness can make us feel anxious or depressed and have a serious effect on our mental health. Yet while millions of us experience feelings of loneliness, we can still find it hard to talk about. 1 in 5 of us hide our feelings of loneliness from others. It can be hard, but there are things we can do for ourselves and for others. Acknowledging we've all been there is a start. And by coming together, we can tackle loneliness. We can also help influence policy, support each other, and help prevent mental health problems. This Mental Health Awareness Week, we want to let everyone living with loneliness know that their mental health matters. And together, we can make change happen.
So I think that's it's quite, well, it's very simple and quite self-explanatory. They're a great foundation. And it's great, and there's so much going on at the moment for Mental Health Week. I mean, so many people are talking, so many people, whether famous or just people really wanting to help people, are telling their stories, talking about their lives or their families or things that have happened to them. And it's so lovely. I mean, I was talking to friends, and I think Ian yesterday, because years ago, it was about 10 years ago, and I was working on a show, and it was promoting positive mental health again. And we were in quite a different place, in the world. People weren't talking as much about it. It does seem far more normalized now. I know that people have thrown themselves into it more, which is really empowering. And it's so lovely to see. And I think what's happened as well, people can talk and they realize actually if you've got a mental health challenge, it doesn't matter. You can work through it. You can still be positive, you can learn. It doesn't define you as a person, And I just think it's really good. And the loneliness thing, gosh, well, that could probably be about 5 shows, I think, couldn't it? Because it's just so much. The research that's gone into it, and just really, I think, because we're still not 100% out of COVID, but what was interesting for me is knowing some friends, one particular friend who works in recruitment, and she, a very outgoing person, incredibly outgoing, and always working, never in, always at parties, always speaking, to people and learning more, because she's such a sociable person. So she used to get her fix on other people and learning, different things. And when COVID happened and obviously people couldn't go out, all of a sudden she went from a really busy life to absolutely nothing, and very, very quickly went downhill, couldn't get out of bed, was feeling just so distraught. And she never ever thought that would happen to her. And I don't know what the statistics are, but it's quite a common thing. Obviously, if you enjoy being alone and you thrive on your own, that's fine for people. But people that needed the external stimuli, it really didn't work well. So she's, she got help and she's doing well, but still is not feeling 100%. But I don't know what statistics are. I wish I had it, but it's so high during COVID. And of course, now we've got the cost of living, which impacts, hugely mental health wise. I mean, it's such a crisis. And I, my heart goes out to everyone. I help all the time in these situations. So it's a good thing. It's good to be always talking about it. And of course, it's Mental Health Awareness Week, but we need to be talking about it every day.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
I think it'd be good to share it. It's very simple, but it just shows how good it is to talk. It's inspiring for people to see.
This is Rohan's story.
Yeah, it's
Roland. Can I ask Roland? Obviously, on his show, are men talking about loneliness at the moment? Is this sort of something that they're prepared to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, more and more. I mean, the point is when men are in a group, they're very competitive, but when you speak to them face to face, they open more up. Yeah, absolutely. They're open for that. Absolutely. Because they feel the same, especially the more successful you're in business, the higher you rank in the organization, the more lonely they feel, that they feel they have less people where they can share and communicate. Absolutely. And they're open for that.
I always used to find out, I used to work with a lot of CEOs and chairmen, and they were probably scared of making any decision half the time, because any decisions they made, would filter down as well. And if they made a wrong decision, it was even sort of harder for them as well. And I think I remember when in one of our TV studios, we were doing really almost really sort of promotions for companies, and these top CEOs would come in, and these guys were, at the very high end of their VCs, for example, dealing with hundreds of millions of pounds, and they would come in, they would sit down in front of a television camera, and within seconds they would turn to jelly. I mean, literally, and even the most simple response. And we used to feed them responses as well. All they had to do is just say the response. It wasn't rocket science we were teaching. No. But even then, we had one guy who did 12 takes on one line. And so that the insecurity, I think. With what you're saying at the same time. But I think the other thing that I hope you all agree with, and the men on the show will agree with as well, it is good to reach out. It is good to reach out. Whenever I feel lonely, insecure, or something, I can reach out to people like Helena, and she's brilliant. We're great friends as well, and she's absolutely brilliant at being able to sort of talk through a situation as well at the same time. And I think it's very important for men to reach out as well.
Yeah, there's something interesting I want to add, because right now I stand with my motorhome outside of my auntie's home. She's 82 and she lives alone outside of a village, of a small village. closer to Czechoslovakian border in Austria. And I had a conversation with her. I said, Auntie, you're always alone. And I said, don't you feel alone? And she said, no, I have a lot of stuff to work. She said, yeah, but when you feel alone, I said, when I feel alone, I go out and meet people. What are you asking for? I just go out and meet people. What's the problem? I guess it's, but what I see in coaching with people is when people when they feel alone and they don't go out immediately, when they stay at home, they get into this negative content loop, and then they say, no, I don't go, and then they never go again, and then they drop down.
Is that a defensive thing, do you think, so that people get used to almost cocooning themselves away from going outside?
Yeah, because you can order everything. You can order meals. You can download a movie. You can enjoy holiday, everything at home. The cocooning effect. Actually, there was a book released like 30 years ago, The Cocooning Effect, by an American lady. It's more and more, and people stay more and more at home because you can have everything at home. You can enjoy everything at home, and the threat is that you lose connection to the outer world and to other people. But on the other hand, what Helen said, that on the other hand, there are people that are so in the outer world, when they have to be by themselves because of the pandemic, they really struggle because they never want to face their dark sides. Because when you're alone, there's time to see your dark sides and deal with them. And so there are both sides.
Yeah, I wanted to add, I definitely saw it with my dad. His name was Jack, and we used to call him Jack in the Box because he never wanted to leave the house. And I feel it myself. And it's interesting. Yesterday, I taught this course that I teach, The Power of Listening. And in there are role plays. And one of the role plays was me talking to someone else. And I just wanted this person to listen to what I had to say. And I said in the role play, I'm so lonely. I'm here on this island by myself with my mother, and I have the same routine day after day. And I hadn't seen that for a few months. And when I watched it yesterday, I thought, I was so lonely. Even though I was acting for the role play, I really was so lonely, and I didn't even know it. And I can see how it affected me, because today still I'm not with other people, with my mom, and I go a couple places, but that's it. And when I think about going into a large group, like I'm going to be doing in June when I go to the Take Steps walk, I'm actually kind of like panicking, thinking about integrating back into being with a bunch of people. So there are definitely ramifications from loneliness, and I have to work on it myself, just saying.
Yeah. I want to add something that...
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ian.
No, I think that's quite right as well, because I find myself, I'm more cocooned in here at the moment, and so you're right. Memories come back. I can have tearful moments. Everybody does. With these things happening, but and I think that's why. The kindness that I've received from other people. I mean, you cannot describe the lift I've had in the past few weeks working on this kindness project with Helena and everyone else. And the kindness I've actually just been shown. I had to go to a meeting to the shopping mall, and someone comes and picks me up in his car so that I can get to the meeting on time. It's just simple acts of kindness like that are good. And I think, I think the reality nowadays is that the thing I notice, I need to get out more. But it is so easy, as you say, to slip into this situation where, you're uncomfortable where I live. I do love my bed. So, so it's sometimes it's hard to get out in the mornings as well. At my age, it takes me a few more minutes for the body to warm up, and I think it's important as well to recognize this and challenge it.
Yes, absolutely. There's a movie, and maybe you can help me with it. Leonardo DiCaprio played Howard Hughes, and Howard Hughes was so out in the public, and then he just went completely inward. Remember that scene when he actually had them lining milk bottles outside of his room? And there comes a point when you have to see it in yourself, and I'm just putting it out there that I need to get out more, because otherwise I could easily just stay in the darkness of this room and keep working.
And as you know, I have a story for every occasion, and there is a thing called Howard Hughes syndrome, which followed on from what happened with Howard Hughes. And many years ago, I met a young boy in London who had Howard Hughes syndrome, and with the extremely long fingernails, with the long hair. In fact, at one stage, we didn't even think he was going to come downstairs from his bedroom just to meet me so that I could interview him as well. And all the things like laying sheets of newspaper on each step as he was coming down. I couldn't touch him. He had gloves on. It was the most strangest thing ever, to actually experience as well.
Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else want to comment about that?
No, but I have a question for Simon about it. Simon, you work with a lot of fishermen, and the fishermen, they all get together, but when they get back home, or did COVID impact their mental health in dealing with being alone, or could they get out and fish? Or
yeah, they I think people say you've got to be pretty mental to go fishing in the first place. But recently with COVID, it has created issues and problems. I mean, I've had grown fishermen on the phone in tears to me as well, and some of these guys, they're as tough as old boots, and to have somebody like that on the phone, breaking down in tears because he doesn't know where the next penny's coming from, and and then he goes to sea and he's on his own and comes back again, and feeling even worse because he's not been able to do a full day's fishing. He's just going to sea for the sake of getting out there, but then he's finding himself alone when he is out there, and it sort of compounds things somewhat. So yes, it's had a big effect on many people in the fishing fleet, and they've been so worried because their overheads have remained the same. In fact, in many cases, the overheads have gone up. They've got harbour dues, they've got fuel bills, maintenance bills on the boats, insurance, etc., and not being able to go out and earn anything to pay these. So it has had a dramatic effect on them. Things are turning circle now, and they are getting out there. They're getting their life back, and it's not just the living, but it's getting the life back, and it's so important.
I would think, and I could be completely overthinking this, but I would think being out at sea, I know the fishermen go out in the middle of the night typically, right? If they have to troll or whatever it's called, where you have to go far out and it's dark and you're alone except for the people there. I would think that also could cause, or I shouldn't say cause, but make you feel alone or lonely or scared.
Yeah. I mean, I've spent many years at sea. I think you could say half my life I'm all at sea anyway. But I've never actually been lonely at sea because there's always so much going on around you. Even if you're out there and it's a dark night, there's a lot of noise perpetually there with water lapping against the boat, maybe engine noise or the swish of the boat going through the water if you're under sail. There's wildlife all around you as well. The water is changing. The whole scene is changing constantly. So you never really have that much time to get desperately lonely. In fact, I find it quite therapeutic often going out sailing late on. You sort of get away far from the maddening crowd. There's something that it's almost humbling as well when you go out there and you're out in the elements, and it's a very alien element to what you would find ashore, and it has quite a humbling effect on you. And you look up, and if you're at night there, we're blessed with being able to see the aurora borealis or the northern lights here on quite a regular basis, in particular in the winter months. And the stars at night, because there's no light pollution, you're looking up there and there's billions of stars in the sky and all the constellations, and you can pick them all out individually. It's a fascinating world there. So yeah, and sadly, a lot of people never ever get the privilege of being able to see that. So it is something very, very special, and you will find your inner self when you go out into a situation like that.
Absolutely.
I
I learned
think-
a lot about myself when I started fishing. I learned so lot more because I'm a fish lover. I love fish and seafood, and for me, fishing was get a catch, eat it. And then
Yes.
a friend introduced me to fishing, and I said, "Why the hell should I spend so much money on equipment? It's cheaper to go to the market and buy the fish." And he said, "No, it's not about a fish." So I started fishing, and I met a lot of people who love to fish every weekend, and they even don't eat the fish. And what I learned from them is you have so much time for yourself to really to sort out your thoughts, think about your life, and that's what I learned from fishing. I learned so much about myself, and it's not about the catch.
Yes. I mean, then you get the other end of the seafaring world in the fishing fleet. You've got, some of the bigger trawlers, which have maybe got sort of 10, 14 of a crew. And you go out there, I mean, you're basically in a sort of floating factory. It's a busy, busy place. And there's no time to get lonely at all when you're out there. I mean, you're just, you're hard at it. The skipper is in the wheelhouse, keeping his boat safe, checking to get the best grounds to fish on, maximizing the time, in particular now because fuel costs are so high that they don't have time now to go searching for new grounds. So they've got to maximize on the existing tows they've got. And the technology now that's in the wheelhouse of these boats as well, it's just absolutely mind-boggling. Friend there, and he's got a new trawler, and he's got he's got more screens than Jodrell Bank or Mission Control NASA has got. He's sitting there, and he's got big wide screens, and he's got a bank of about 6 of them in front of him, all doing different things. And up above, there's another 7 or 8 up there as well, all doing different things. And your eyes are everywhere, monitoring each one as well as you go on. It's a pretty busy place to be. So it's actually quite nice coming back home and getting to bed and thinking, it's pretty tiring work.
I'd love to hear from the ladies if they are fisher people, fisher women. Helena?
I do love fish, and I have to say I find, when you see fish I know this is not like the same for you, Dr. Jacalyn, but when I see fish that's out on ice, I don't know, there's something about it. I find it quite exciting. I don't know why. It's just something within me. And I do enjoy fish, and I eat fish, and I think that's really all. But I suppose it's not a great passion of mine, but I appreciate it. I do appreciate it.
Have you gone fishing?
Not real fishing, no. I think I thought I did when I was younger, sitting on the edge of a little, pretending with a stick, but it wasn't really fun.
I've gone a couple of times, and I don't want to put the thing on the thing, the
worm.
Maggot or whatever it is.
Yes, whatever it is on the hook. I don't mind, doing the whole other thing, and I think it is peaceful, but I don't want to be touching anything. Diann, how about you? You're on mute. You're on mute, Diann. You're on mute.
It's probably good because I was having a chuckle. I was trying to imagine you in your fishing clothes and walking into the deep water so you could get that catch and seeing the little fish run around you.
No, I just want to clarify. If I'm going to go fishing, it's on the back of a yacht where I'm not in a rowboat out there or in the deep water. No, that's not what I'm doing.
Just to say as well that sometimes when you go fishing, you never know what you're going to catch. And I've only ever photographed fishing once. And it was in my very, very early days, and my local newspaper had organized this angling competition. And there's about 200 anglers from the local area that I'm photographing them fishing. And all of a sudden, someone has thrown his line out, or her line out. It was a girl, actually. And the line itself and the rod was almost bending double, and it looked like he'd like she'd caught a shark or something. It was so big, and they reeled it in, and I dared to sort of say it, and they said, but she'd reeled in a body.
Ooh. Oh, dear.
So the reality is you never quite know what you're going to go fishing for.
Oh, my stars.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a question for Helena.
Go ahead, Diane.
Can I just say, we were talking about as you get older, you get kinder. That was the research project they did. So it's the rising level of oxytocin. So the rising level of oxytocin is obviously the feel-good hormone. So as you get older, you've got a greater sense of happiness and well-being. So that's the ethos behind how you become kinder as you get older.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Because I'm the oldest one here, I'm waiting for that to happen.
I think you're the oldest one only by a matter of days.
Diane, you said you had a question for Helena?
Well, it was just, Helena, you already brought us back to another topic, which I was happy for. But in the Kindness Project, and that you said it's Mental Health Week in England, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think it's important to know what I worry about, and would love y'all's thoughts, is kids are so addicted to being by themselves with social media and so forth. And what we're discovering in our schools is they don't know how to interact anymore. And I think that is going to take the increase to some mental health issues. And I was wondering if y'all in England or in the whole UK were making those discoveries too, and any ideas of how we can make a course correction in this.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, yeah, we're finding that here as well, and it's a terrible situation because obviously, children are not everybody. We can't say everybody because children have to have boundaries, and it's almost like going back to basics, going back to how things used to be. It's very important to, I don't know how big your family is. It could be one person, two people, to make sure you sit down and eat together. Try and sit around a table, try and talk, because what's happening is young children, I mean, obviously they've got years and years of growth ahead of them, and they're not socializing properly, which means they're not communicating properly, effectively, and it's holding them back. And of course, especially what with COVID, especially young teenagers, it's really impacted hugely on their mental health, and it worries me greatly how things are going to play out. And as always, you need people to help people, but it's about prevention. It's trying to prevent this from happening. I mean, I don't hold the key, but I definitely know that everyone, if we all made an effort with your own children, friends, families, children, just to try and communicate, it becomes a social thing that everyone needs to help with. It's too late once you refer. Well, it's not too late, but you obviously don't want everyone being referred to therapists. You need to try. It's about intervening. That's how I feel. I mean, again, that's one for another huge show, I think.
True. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Helena, we didn't get to play the other clip. Should we play it now?
If we've got time, I think it's good. It all rolls into Mental Health Week. This is Rohan's story. This is Mind, which is a fabulous charity over here. And I think it just shows how powerful word is.
All right, let's take a look.
There's nobody like me. Nobody like me. Sometimes I felt like nobody likes me. I've got two sides, feels like two lives. I don't think anyone's loved both of them like me. I live with bipolar. Bipolar is my G. After 15 years, I was diagnosed with it, finally. I blacked out, episodes turned into seasons. I didn't want to be here, I couldn't find a reason, until I found a reason. I never thought that I could find the strength in my weakness. It took seeing low points to realize how strong I am. It took looking back to see just how long I ran. Caribbean home, they love me, but they didn't understand. I'd be lying if I said I didn't struggle, man. But I'm so lucky I've been held by the most loving hands. I didn't want to be here, but life had some other plans, because there's nobody like me.
Wow.
powerful, isn't it?
Very,
Very
powerful.
powerful.
And it's just to change the way people think and to, you know, to get people to reach out. And Mind is a fabulous charity, mind.org.uk, and they're a wealth of information.
Thank you for sharing that. I always love the clips that you bring. The one, take a moment. We've had such incredible feedback from people about that. It just resonates with everyone.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I love being able to share them.
Thank you. Well, we are actually way over our time. Of course we are, because we just love to chat and hang out together. So we are going to close out. I would just spotlight each of you and anything you want to share with our audience about yourself or a word of kindness. Please go ahead and feel free. We'll start with Diann.
Everyone have a great week and try to do an act of kindness in your own backyard.
Fantastic. Thank you. Going over to Mr. Roland FRIEDL, who has a lot of good sun, I can see.
Yes, I did a lot of gardening in my aunt's house to help her out. So what I want to tell you guys is start, as Daniel says, start in your small community and spread it in your family. And then you will say it's like bringing a little stone in the water, and the waves will spread over there. Start in your community, in your family. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And let's go over to Ian.
Well, for me, always remember, reach out and you can find happiness, you can find kindness as well. And probably the biggest message of all this week is support USA Global TV for all the programs you're doing.
Thank you. Brilliant. Simon, over to you.
All right. Oh, well, all I can say is, come on, guys, just go for it. For too late is when tomorrow was yesterday. I always bear that one in mind as well when things are going tough. So too late is when tomorrow was yesterday. But it's been lovely being back again. It's lovely actually being able to hear you this time, because the last time I spoke, I was at Seafood Expo Global in Barcelona, and trying to do the live show from there, and I couldn't hear a thing. And I was sort of having to look at the screen and sort of screw up my eyes very, very closely and sort of try and lip read and so on to get my cues. But anyway, the result was we had a fabulous time over there. And I mean, every show on USA Global TV is just fabulous time anyway. Great fun, real enjoyment. And we're just a brilliant family. It's lovely, and you know, I'm so pleased to be back in a civilized area just now where I don't have to try and press my ear up to the screen to hear anything. But
well, thank you. Can you tell us about your pin also? That looks very interesting.
Oh, oops, that's right. Yes, golden retriever. Of course, we have Isla, who is almost 1 year old now. On the 24th of May, she will be exactly 1 year old. And I think she's given us a lot more grey hairs than she's actually achieved gold hairs in her time. But she's been super fun. And, you know, I love the breed. Golden Retrievers, just amazing dogs. They're so biddable, and, you know, they're so gentle and not always docile, but they're just wonderful, wonderful dogs. And I'm delighted to say in the first year of Isla's life, all our furniture is intact.
Wait, is your furniture was attacked or it's intact?
It is all intact.
Okay.
She hasn't eaten any of it, and she hasn't eaten the carpets or tried eating the curtains or anything like that at all. All her toys are still intact as well, and she'll just sit there. She's got her pet soft toy bunny and her soft toy Mr. Sausage, which is a sort of sausage dog, and she sits there at night just sucking away in the ears, making the most disgusting mess over them. Like any doggy, of course, she loves her food as well, and she's great. The surprising thing was actually yesterday, I actually managed to extract the first bark from her. Golden Retrievers are not exactly known as being the greatest of guard dogs and watch dogs. I reckon she couldn't even guard a fire, this one. And we were playing with her last night, and she actually went woof, and she got such a fright she ran out the room. She wondered where the sound had come from, and it had all come from her. So there we go. Great dogs. And that explains the golden retriever pin on my jacket.
Thank you. I was going to ask you, I don't think she's ever barked during a show, which is amazing. And now we know why. She just had her first bark.
Yes, I keep sort of worrying about her. If we got a mute dog, she's certainly not deaf, and the nose works extremely well. And she can hear a crisp packet rattle at about 100 yards away. And if you take a biscuit out of the jar very carefully to try and eat it without her knowing about it, the nose just twitches, and suddenly she's wide awake, and she's there. Yeah, they've all got the same trait.
Well, I remember when you shared that you got her, and that was over a year ago. That's amazing. We've been together a long time now. It's doing show after show, which is terrific. And we lost Helena. I don't know what happened to her. She was here and now she's gone. So we can't have any final words from her. So I'll just share something from me, which is I would ask everyone to get out of their comfort zone and do something that makes you feel uncomfortable. And I'll give an example. I'm really super excited that Madeline Chan, who's one of our team members and was introduced to us through Ian and Helena, she and I are co-writing a song together, and we're going to be performing it together. So I am never thought in a million years, after I've been told over and over again I have a horrible voice, and this horrible voice is going to be performing with an award-winning international singer-songwriter.
And I just very quickly, sorry, I've got Helena on the mobile. So
Hi, Helena.
No problem at all. I don't know what happened. I lost you, but I was just listening to that wonderful. It's lovely to hear that, Jackson, you're performing a song. My goodness, I can't believe it.
We wrote the first two verses, which is a lot of fun. So, but Helena, would you like to share any final words with our audience about kindness or mental health awareness, or just any?
I think what I would like to say, Dr. Jacalyn, is what a great show you've got. So many great shows. Thank you so much for really working with us. It's so lovely to be able to inform and educate and shine a light on inspirational people and charitable organisations. I think it's so important to do that. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for everything that you do to bring us the news and all these fabulous clips that we have. I'm always in awe every time. As soon as I see an email from you, I'm like, oh, it's a new clip. I can't wait to see what it is. So thank you for that. Thank you, all of you.
Okay. Thank you all. See you next week.
All right. We'll see you next week. All right, everyone, we're saying goodbye for now, and we will be back next week. Our next show today is The Business Talk Show. Mr. Alcini has the day off, and Mr. Roland FRIEDL is stepping in. So join us. We will have another great show. Take care, everyone.
Bye now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.